Hey, welcome back. After I did that last video on building a bridge, I got an awful lot of comments and even emails requesting that I do the video over with a different kind of rifle, because the 25-pound PRS rifle that I used in that video is not representative of the rifles that a lot of you are shooting. And one of the most specific requests I got was to do it with a larger cartridge with an unbraked rifle that was lightweight for hunting. So today, let's see what happens when we take my .308 hunting rifle and shoot it off of a bipod while building a bridge. So I'm going to tell you from the very beginning that this is not going to go well. I don't even have to shoot the rifle first to find that out. I know this from experience. When you take a rifle that is not designed for a particular application and try to use it for that, it's like trying to put a square peg into a round hole, and you are going to have a less than optimal experience. So let's just go fire a few shots at the range. These are 168 grain Match Kings, doing about 2,700 at the muzzle, and this is a lot of energy because this rifle with a bipod on it is less than 11 pounds. And with the field of view of this scope, it's going to be hard to keep the target in the field of view at all, if that's even possible. So just like last time, I am doing everything possible to get the rifle aligned straight with my body, straight with my spine, right from my shoulder down to my glute, so that I have the straightest possible position. And I'm trying very hard to keep the rifle in my shoulder while I'm doing it. But the length of pull of this particular rifle is a lot shorter than I would normally shoot in any kind of a competition setting. The rifle is weighted funny for this particular experience because it's designed for hunting, where you're going to hand hold the rifle, shoot from offhand, maybe kneeling, sitting, or even prone with a sling. It's not designed for shooting with a bipod. And I want to emphasize that in this while I'm showing you what happens when you try to fit a square peg into a round hole. So let's start at the side view and fire a shot and just see what happens. Oh, up and to the left. Who would have thought of that? As a matter of fact, that's what a lot of you have been telling me you get every time you fire your rifle in prone off of a bipod. Well, let's change the technique a little bit and see if we can control it. In this case, I'm going to grab the forend just like I would if I was shooting with a sling, and see if I can keep it down. Well, wasn't that interesting? It jerked the forend right out of my hand. That's not going to work. So let's take a look from the back and see if there's anything specific going on here that might tell us why this is going on. No, it's just too light of a rifle with too much energy and no way of mitigating the recoil or keeping the muzzle down. It wants to come up no matter what I do, bag or no bag. As a matter of fact, shooting this thing off of a bipod is probably the worst idea I could have because it's not designed for that. You see, application drives rifle design, and design drives technique. And in this case, this rifle is designed for a different set of techniques. For example, if we simply take it and shoot it off of a bag, off of a prop, we get a whole lot better recoil response. It just goes straight up. Now, if we wanted this rifle to shoot better in this situation, shooting off of a bipod, if you have some reason that you absolutely must shoot off of a bipod, let me show you what I would do to the rifle. I'd do something that looks a little more like this. This is also a 700 Remington. I just don't have a scope on it right now. This is my .223, but if it was a .308, it'd be the same situation. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to design the rifle so that the bipod is mounted on a surface that is parallel to the bore. That means an arc rail on the bottom like this. The next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to mitigate the recoil to the extent possible. We're going to put a muzzle brake on the rifle. This, in and of itself, would eliminate the vast majority of the problems with shooting a hunting rifle from a bipod. Now, I'm sure you're saying, but muzzle brakes are so loud. I like to hunt without hearing protection. Well, gents, if you are firing a rifle without hearing protection, even just one shot, and it's not suppressed, you are harming your hearing. Don't do that. In lieu of a muzzle brake, you can use a suppressor. That works just as well for the majority of this. You're just trying to eliminate that rocket effect from the muzzle when you fire a shot. It's going to help keep the rifle in place, and the extra weight out of the muzzle is going to be helpful at keeping the muzzle down. The next thing I would do is I would change bipods. This inexpensive Caldwell bipod is worth exactly what you pay for it. It's inexpensive. It's going to give you an inexpensive result. Buying a better bipod with legs that fix in place hard instead of being mounted on springs and pivots might be better for your overall shooting experience. But even at that, if you have too much energy with too light of a rifle, you are going to get a recoil response that you maybe don't like, that doesn't match what I get out of a PRS rifle. Whether I'm shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor with 153s or a 6 Dasher with 105s, I'm going to get a better response out of it because my rifle is simply more massive. You have to carry it, but the response when you shoot is much better. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that larger cartridges with lightweight rifles and no recoil mitigation are going to be very hard to control in prone, especially off of an inexpensive bipod. At least it stayed in my field of view. Now, this is not an unusual situation. Even FTR shooters find this with our 18-pound rifles. They get a lot of up and to the left result from the rifle because of the unmitigated recoil that they're absorbing with their bodies. It's something that you have to accept and realize that you can make good shots even if you can't see where it hits downrange when the bullet gets there. Guys, if you want to see where you're hitting downrange, add a muzzle brake or a suppressor, weigh that rifle down, and use a proper stock design in order to achieve your goals. Otherwise, you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and that generally doesn't work. All right, guys, until next time, shoot straight, design carefully, and I'll see you in the next video.